Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome back to Cosmic Culture, the channel where we talk all things major movie and television news, theories, breakdowns, and much, much more. I'm your host Chris, and today we're going to be talking about 2023 DC Studios plans. We have now an official hard set confirmation for the projects that will be releasing in 2023, and although there is a lot of confusion and uncertainty surrounding the future of DC Studios, we have a lot of conversations that need to take place for those of you who have any interest at all in a successful DC universe. Now, I know primarily in the space of comic book movies, the majority of the fans definitely lean towards the MCU. In fact, I've been a YouTuber talking about movies, a critic, going to different events for 5 years now, and during that time, the videos I make about Marvel obviously do way better than the videos I do about DC. But I do honestly believe that DC as a franchise, as a group, as a collection of characters, has a large amount of fans, but it's hard for those fans to collect and get behind the projects that we've been getting. Now, we do have some awesome individual projects, some characters that have been represented very well, but as a whole, DC and the DC Universe, the DCEU, it's been a little bit of a rocky road, especially if you were to compare it to the MCU. So we're going to be talking about all this, but as well, the projects that are coming out for the future of DC Studios and what direction it seems like we might be headed in. If you haven't already, consider subscribing and turning on that notification bell so you don't miss out on any of our other major movie and television news updates happening daily here on the channel. You can also follow me on my other socials, Instagram at Chris M. Rosser and Twitter at TheCultureChris. Links to both of those are in the description down below. So it seems like anytime we talk about DC, it is heavy laden with question marks. Always trying to figure out what exactly it is that we should be expecting, projects getting moved last minute constantly, characters and actors getting switched and swapped around, always wondering what exactly it is we will be getting. And Warner Bros. Discovery recently said, as they canceled a lot of movies set to release this year, that they didn't have enough money to market for more movies to come out. So what does that mean for 2023 and what movies are going to be released? Well, for starters, we know that 4 big projects will be coming out, and here's a quote that we have directly talking about the excitement that we should have. This comes from CEO David Zaslav, who confirmed that 4 DC movies will 100% be releasing during 2023, saying, "We are very excited for our robust film slate next year. We are back in business with a lineup of features that is truly supportive of a distinct theatrical window. The slate includes The Flash, Shazam, Fury of the Gods, Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom, and Blue Beetle, DC's first superhero movie starring a Latino character directed by Angel Manuel Soto." So it sounds like 100% we should be expecting 4 big releases, starting with Shazam, Fury of the Gods, which is a sequel to the Shazam storyline, and supposedly somewhere in this new order, the new hierarchy of the DC Universe will eventually match up with Black Adam, played by The Rock, and recently reintroduced to the MCU, Superman, played by Henry Cavill. Now, it was very clear that something fans needed in order to be satisfied with the DC Universe was a Superman, and Henry Cavill had since backed out, had left DC, there were disagreements, there was a lot of problems that went into that, but he is back. In fact, today he was talking about how he plans on playing Superman in the DC Universe for DC Studios for a very long time. We're expecting to get a next Man of Steel movie, and so on and so forth. With that, we should expect to see a collaboration between The Rock and his character Black Adam, and Superman, played by Henry Cavill, and Zachary Levi, who plays Shazam, will be thrown into that. But before we get there, we need to talk about the second film, which will be releasing March 17th, 2023, as it is currently set, and hopefully they'll be able to meet that release date. They are rebooting and revamping the DC Universe. They've retitled it DC Studios. They've gotten 2 co-presidents, James Gunn being one of them, who has been involved with some successful DC projects. So we're trying to figure out what the new plan is for DC, although they haven't been, we'll say, transparent or even really informative about the direction that they're heading. What happened with the past and the Justice League movies? Are we continuing on with that as canon? Are we starting over from Black Adam and just kind of calling it what it is? And hopefully we'll get some answers to that, because that transparency is what will really allow the DC universe to be pushed to that next level of understanding. When you're kind of shrouded in mystery and you don't know what you're getting from where and what matters and what doesn't and what's old and what's new, it definitely caused that doubt and that uncertainty. Regardless, Shazam, the second one, seems like it's going to be a very fun movie, much like its first, and hopefully a very strong introduction to the MCU with a lot of cool leading teases, post-credit scenes, whatever it be, that hint us that maybe the Black Adam and Superman Shazam trifecta won't be too far into the future. Next up we have The Flash, which is a movie that I wouldn't say is in shambles, but has a lot of controversy around it, given the current status of the main character, Ezra Miller, who's had a lot of troubles off camera. It seems like Warner Brothers Discovery is hoping that we can all just forget about that and are moving forward with the film, as it has had extremely positive testing, and this movie is important because it opens up the multiverse, which will allow DCEU to canonly become the DC Universe, which is extremely important, it seems like, for the future plans of DC Studios. This one is set to release June 23rd, 2023, and although there's been a lot of talks about them possibly scrapping the project or recasting Ezra Miller in the movie, I don't think that's going to be the case, and it even seems like Warner Brothers is kind of hoping that they can just keep Ezra Miller on as long as he's willing to play the role, or as long as his role is relevant. He's publicly apologized, and they're trying to clean that up, so we'll see what happens there. Blue Beetle, one I know a lot of fans are excited for, the first Latino DC superhero coming to the big screen. Very, very excited for this. This was an HBO Max debut, but has been moved to a theatrical release. Blue Beetle looks to bring the first franchise ever Latino leading man to the big screen, with an almost all Latin cast sharing the spotlight. So, very excited for this. We have seen some shots and some background screenings of this movie, and it seems like it's going to be a good introduction to this new part of the DC universe, and I'm curious to see how it will fit into what we already have in the future. Blue Beetle's debut is in theaters. Remember, now it's in theaters August 18th, 2023. And then the last theatrical release for DC in 2023 is Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. This one should have a lot of excitement, considering that the first one was one of the most successful releases for DC in several years. It also seems like everybody loves Jason Momoa as Aquaman. Everybody loves Jason Momoa just as Jason Momoa. His involvement, it's a staple character in DC, somebody who's been pretty firm and hasn't been wavering, been fired and unfired and left and returned. Just always been a strong staple of DC, so I feel like there should be some type of appreciation for him for having that important character and playing him so well. With that being said, I'm very excited for that movie as well. Probably of the four, it would have to be either Shazam 2 or Aquaman 2. But we're going to have to wait and see them. 2023 is going to be a big year for DC, and hopefully they can start turning around this negative streak and really change fans' minds. For those of you who are still here at the very end of the video, let me know. You are fans of the channel, you've watched me here on Cosmic Culture for several years, or maybe you're new, but where is your interest? Obviously, people love the MCU, and it is highly discussed and highly loved by YouTubers, by fans, by everybody across the world. But do you have hope for DC? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. As always, thank you to everybody who watched to the very end of the video. If you found it helpful, useful, or entertaining, consider subscribing, and I'll catch you guys all in the next one right here on Cosmic Culture.